Matt, the first game of the pre-season schedule, how do you think it went?
I think the first thing we've got to say is thank you to Melksham. What a fantastic facility, first and foremost. And I think we come here every year for a reason. Both communities, both set of supporters. And it's a good venue to come and play a pre-season game. It's at the end of our first week of pre-season, so hopefully the lads weren't too physically tired on the back of the work they've done. They might have been a little bit leggy towards the end of each half, but really pleased with the outing.
How do you feel the first week has gone for pre-season?
Look, we've worked hard. I think we set the stall up pretty early on in relation to that. Obviously, up bar Monday morning, which was all testing based in the gym. The rest of the time, the lads have put some yards in this week, and hopefully they'll be better for it come next week. They've obviously got their weekend off. It'll be the last weekend off for an awful long time, so hopefully they enjoy that. And this was the end of that week. Hopefully we come through unscathed. Certainly towards the end, a few tackles were flying in, but that's to be accepted and understood, to be honest with you, because we wanted the game to be a competitive game. And I think it was throughout.
Quite a few of the new lads got their first chance to wear the blue and white quarters today. How do you feel they did?
Yeah, I was generally pleased with the intent of the team in the first half, but the execution too many times actually let us down. Whereas the second half team, it was a messier type team, a younger team, a bit more naive, but then we had a real threat about us. Ollie getting his goal and then obviously Dan getting a couple from set-piece situations. But on the stark contrast is the goals we conceded. Obviously a couple of goalkeeping errors in relation to that, so that probably showed the naivety of youth in the second half. But like I say, mainly concentrating on that first half group and some of the new signings in amongst that. They're actually getting to know each other, and we only did probably 10 minutes worth of 11v11 work yesterday morning, so that's the first time they've properly played with each other, and you can see them at the end at half time sort of saying we're learning each other's games, but there was a slightly different dynamic I felt of the group in terms of the way they moved, and that is a powerful squad.
A phrase that we hear a lot this time of year is match fitness. Could you just explain for fans who maybe don't quite understand what that's about, what match fitness actually means?
It's interesting. It's pretty much what it says on the tin, really. They probably spend 6 to 8 weeks doing 5Ks, 10Ks, 1,000-metre runs, just doing sort of general work over a certain area and for a certain period of time, whereas football games are played in a tight area. It's all about your body movements, certainly in a 360 area, and sort of your hips, your feet, and how you get your power into your legs. So that will come as pre-season continues. It will come with a little bit of gym work as well, but it won't take too long for it to come back, because generally nowadays a modern day player keeps himself pretty fit, and a lot of them have been doing some football work away from it, but you only get that tight and sharp work when you go up against people, and that was our first competitive game. But training has been competitive and it has to continue that way.
First week done, what will the second week have in store for the boys?
Exactly the same and a bit more, and then another game to look forward to, slightly different because that game's on the Saturday, so an extra day's work into them. Look, I think we've got 3 double sessions next week. It's generally football in the morning and running in the afternoon. It's so strange, we stood here and it's rained throughout the night, so it's actually been a cooler climate for us to work in, which has probably suited us to a certain extent. We just want to keep the boys going in the right direction and not lose any to injury. That's why tonight was so important, because we were really on the edge in terms of the physical work they did yesterday, but they seemed to get through it unscathed, a few bumps and bruises, and hopefully we can do the same next week and have a squad a little bit fuller when we go to Bath. There's a few of the senior ones who weren't involved tonight, the Chris Martins, the Grant Wards, and obviously Michael Forbes signing yesterday, so he's another one to add to that, so all of a sudden we'll definitely be stronger next week, hopefully, and we might have a couple more additions.